how can a tiny little box like this help control mites? Varroa Destructor. Hey everybody, David Burns. I'm glad to be with you today. Pumped and excited. Hope you had a good 4th of July. Going to talk about this little tiny box and how it can help you control the Varroa Destructor mite, which is going to really expand rapidly now that we're into the hot summer months of July and August. The mites are going to continue to grow and be a real threat to your colonies, and you have to take the initiative now to keep the mite levels really low, because I know all of you that have your bees, you want to get your bees through the winter, but if they're carrying high virus loads from the Varroa mite, then they're going to have that virus just continue to be spread from bees to bees, because bees feed each other mouth to mouth. They also produce royal jelly to feed the young developing larvae. That's going to be infected with the virus. It just spreads rapidly through the hive. All the way through winter, your bees are going to die in the month of March before it even gets to be spring. So you got to control your mites now. And I'm going to show you today, we're going to go out to a hive and we're going to use this box, and I'm going to show you how this can reduce mites in your colony. But first, let me tell you how it works. This is a queen push-in cage. We're going to go to a hive on a hot day where it's 97 degrees and very humid. I'm going to die out there. And we're going to find the queen, hopefully really fast on the first frame that we pull up. It's not ever going to go that way. And then we're going to find her and isolate her by pushing this into the comb. We're going to push it down until she barely has enough room to walk from the top of the comb to the top inside of the cage. This will confine her. And we're going to keep her in this cage confined, hopefully, for about 7 days. This is going to allow the queen not to lay any brood, any eggs, for 7 days. The reason we're doing that is because mites expand, they reproduce in the capped cells of the honeybee, of the developing pupae. And usually there's 2 mites developing for every bee that emerges. And so you can see this time of the year how quickly mites can outbrood the bees, because for every bee that comes out, 2 mites come out. That's how mites reproduce inside the capped pupae cells of honeybees. By combining the queen under this push-in cage, she will not be able to lay any eggs for 7 days. Only do this if your hive population is strong and they're not struggling in numbers. Don't do this if they're struggling. So this is your typical strong colony. We confine the queen here for 7 days under the queen push-in cage. By doing that, she's unable to lay any eggs for 7 days. Now, do the math with me really quickly. Let's say right now she's laying 2,000 eggs a day, and we're going to confine her for 7 days. That's 14,000 eggs that we're preventing from being laid in the hive. Multiply that by 2, and you get 28,000 mites that we're potentially not allowing to develop or to be created. So in this case, we're preventing the mites from expanding. We're slowing down the mites expanding during the month of July. Do this once in July, once in August, once in September to greatly help you control the Varroa Destructor mite. I'm going to go out to the hive and show you how to do it. Now, a couple of things I want to caution you about. This cannot be your only method. You need to fight mites with all the arsenals that you can come up with. You know, if it's treatment, if it's powdered sugar, IPM, whatever you want to use, different ways to control your mites. Not really good to do any of those things unless you first test for mites. See what the mite levels are. Because let's say you don't test for mites and your mite levels are skyrocket. Let's say you have, I don't know, 35 mites per 100 bees. This is no good to you. You need something like Formic Pro. You need a real strong acid to kill your mites so that you can drop them immediately. That's too many mites, you know what I mean? This is more preventative. This is when your mite levels aren't too bad, but you don't want them to accelerate in the months of July and August, September. So by confining your queen like this, you're holding down the mite from developing and creating exponentially, and it allows you to do so without the use of harsh chemicals. A lot of you might be experiencing your mite loads, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 mites per 100 bees. That's not bad at all. That's where this little baby will come in very handy. Let me put a hot bee suit on. Let me light up a very hot smoker. Let me go out in the hot sun, and let's open up a hot hive that's probably just on water detail only today. And let's spend hours trying to find the queen so we can confine her. Let's go. If it sounds like I'm procrastinating, I definitely am. I definitely am. It's so humid, so hot. But I'm not going to get anywhere by crying about the weather, right? All right, I'm going. Okay, I'm going to do it. I can do this. I can do this for you guys because I love you. I make a deal with you. Now, if you subscribe, I'll go out now into a hot field of bees and do a hot day, humid, and I'll show you how to use it. If you subscribe, okay? Look, here's the subscribe button. Enough of you subscribe. Click on the bell. I'm going to go. Okay, go. Okay. Oh, there's 5 of you subscribed. All right, way to go. 100 of you have subscribed. 5 more subscribers. Okay. All right, you did it. Thanks for subscribing. Here we go. Now, before we cage a queen, look at this. Here it is in the mid-90s. These bees are busy going in and out on a regular fashion. But look at this hive. They're equally busy going in and out, but look at the washboarding in the front. And bees are kind of hanging out more on the porch. Both hives are similar in configuration, 2 deeps and a super, 2 deeps and a super. It's just a different population, different number of foragers, maybe a different amount of brood. This hive is a little more hot, and so they're having more bees go on the outside and do washboarding. And washboarding is one of those things that is still a slight mystery. We know there are young bees doing that, but what the heck they're doing? Kind of a mystery. We're going to jump into the horizontal hive and confine the queen in here. Always love getting in here. If you haven't seen my video where I unbox and set up the horizontal hive, I'll leave a link in the description below. Those bees are just doing great. Still need to change my porch a little bit to dodge that hinge, but I love this hive so much. Always encouraging you guys to give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Yeah, let's jump in there and cage a queen. Opening up the top, look at that. They're putting a little bit of wax on the plastic window that we can see down in there. We'll start by lifting that off. Start over here to get this one off a little easier. Got a little smoke on them. Okay, nope, don't really have any wax buildup on this little inner cover. Like a new frame against the wall. And look at that, all glistening with nectar from all the flowers around my property, building out wax. I doubt we'll see the queen over here in the frames full of nectar. Oh, we went from a black frame to a yellow frame. No wonky comb on new frames being drawn out. That's pretty. Yeah, look at that, starting to put some caps right there a little bit, capping it over. Yeah, that's nice job. Let's keep looking over. I want to show you a few more. I'm going to hold on to the frame though and not drop it. Look at that, capped over beautifully, an entire frame of honey. Wow. Okay, now let's get back to our task at hand. We're going to try to find the queen, so let's do a little smoking and get the window off. We want to find the queen and then put her under a queen excluder box. Queen excluder material these boxes are made out of. So the worker bees can go in and out, but the queen is confined. Yeah, the spacing is off on that window enough where the bees built comb up there. We'll just let it happen. What can you do, right? What can you do? I'm guessing the queen is on that frame. No, I have no clue. It's like a lot of work to find her, doesn't it? It's a lot of frames to look at, but let's cover some of these up, I guess. I'm going to do a little work on drones for you guys coming up. in a future video in a few days. So this would be the place I'm going to get drones from. I was wondering which hive had enough drones for me to do some work, and this is it. All right, well, we can see we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to drop through these frames that are capped over with honey and work our way into the brood area to find the queen. Okay, so you can see no brood here, just honey, bees. So just going to slide it over here out of the way. Okay, we got brood on the next frame, fortunately for us, so possibility the queen is in the neighborhood. I'm being careful with my hive tool, trying not to kill any bees as I work them. This frame is really heavy, but look at that brood pattern. I'm glad to see some solid brood in the heat like this. Sometimes hives stop laying really well and get kind of spotty in hot weather. I'm going to say I didn't see the queen there. I looked for like 2 seconds because it was capped over. I don't really think the queen has much area to lay in there. All right, let's see if I can get this out nicely. The bees are so calm. Is it like this for all horizontal hives? Are bees really calm just because they love being in a horizontal hive, maybe? Well, yeah, let's say that, right? And if you're wondering where I got my horizontal hive, here is the company, Horizontal Bees. I think it's horizontalbees.com. And I paid for this myself. I haven't seen any small hive beetle much this year at all here in Illinois. That's strange, isn't it? I usually see quite a few beetles. I don't see them this year so much. Honey, that's not brood, by the way. That's capped over honey. Don't see the queen. There's capped over brood. Let's just do a comparison. Capped over honey. If you poked it, it would ooze honey out. On the other side, it's more textured, kind of more of a clothy look. And that's capped over brood. It's capped over on about day 8 approximately. So 8 days ago, the queen was there laying on that frame. I haven't had one bee bother me, like bother my face, bother my jeans. Nothing. I want to put my finger there, but some bees are in the way. Get them off my frame there a little bit. How about this? You think the queen is on this frame? Leave a comment below right now before I show it to you. Nice brood pattern there in the middle. I am so sweaty, my eyes are burning. I'm relying on you to find the queen because I'm blind. I'm blinded by the heat. I'm blinded by sweat in my eyes, but I'll put it there to rest it. And let's take a look. There's a little bit of a breeze that's keeping me from passing out. Life is a struggle. Inspecting a beehive on a hot day is a struggle, but when life throws you a struggle, you just got to get through it, don't you? You just got to say, I'm a dollar short of passing out, but I'm going to muscle through and make this happen. All right, so let's look at the other side. Some brood around the edges. Look for the queen. Help me look for the queen. We're going to isolate her. Not if we find her, but when we find her. Got to be positive. You got to be confident that we're going to find the queen and we're going to confine her to a queen cage. All right, here's the queen. I want to keep her kind of on this side over here. I'm kind of nudging her along so she doesn't go below anywhere. I've got my queen cage here, so I'm gently going to try to find a place to poke it in right here. All right, I got her in there. I'm pushing it down until it hits the mid-rib section. All right, now the bees can go in and out. Let's see if you can see her in there. Yep, she's walked right across the middle. Let me see if I can get some bees out of the way for you here. There she goes across the middle there. So you can see the queen cage is in place, and it might pose a little bit of an issue with the bee space. I'm kind of hoping not. We'll do the best we can. It's only going to be 7 days, so hopefully it won't be too bad. Now, our job now is just to make all these frames tight back together again. July is the month that beekeepers can make the most deadliest mistakes to their hives, and a lot of these issues can be addressed early on if you know how to look for them. I made a video for you guys just so you don't lose your bees in the winter from making mistakes in July. Check it out right here. I'll see you over there.